I am Batu from Cuscen USA. Today, we are going to have an overview of Cuscen's distribution module, focusing on purchase and sale submodules. Let's get started. First, we have the purchase request. Let's begin with the request number column. Each request is assigned a unique identifier, ensuring that you can track your purchases effectively. We can notice how the series starts with PRN24, followed by a sequence of numbers. Moving on to the status column, we have various of stages for each request: complete, pending, open, and approved. This column is critical for quickly assessing the progress of each purchase request. In the branch column, you see entries such as head office or the P cost pick. This designation helps in categorizing the requests by their originating department or branch, allowing for streamlined processing. Next up, we have the description and department columns, providing clarity on what the purchase entails and which department it's for, such as ITD for the Information Technology Department and FNA for Finance and Accounting. The date and required by columns are aligned, displaying when the request was made and its due date. It's essential to keep a close eye on these dates to prioritize requests effectively. Every request comes with a priority status. In our system, you will mostly see normal, but there are also instances of low priority, helping to allocate resources wisely. The assigned to and total quantity columns gives us insights into the responsible party for the request and total amount of items needed. This ensures accountability and precise order amounts. The open quantity and received quantity columns tell us how much of the order is still pending and how much has been received, crucial for inventory management and order completion tracking. Finally, the requested by and last approval by columns lists the usernames involved in initiating and approving the purchase request, highlighting the workflow from request to approval. Now let's talk about how to add a purchase request. Let's click on Add, and that will take us to the Add page. Here we have to request a type. This can be the construction material request, subcon labor, task PR, general HQ or PR budget. And we can add as many request types as possible. In order to do that, we can go to configuration. And when we go to configuration, we'll go up to preference. And when we click on purchase, this page will come up. Under request, we can see all our document types. As you can see, PR001, PR003, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And you can see our description as well. For example, for PR001, this equals the construction material request, for example. And number rank, and you can see our default PR and other necessary information on the right. And this same concept goes with purchase requests as well. We can start purchase request type with their description, with their number rank, and this same with purchase order, again with their type, their number, their description, their number rank. We can see default receive type and other necessary information on the far right. We also have the requisition item class. If there is none, we can always click on new to add one. We can add a document type and item class as well. We also have the receipts of purchase receipts. We have the receipt types with the description, number rank, we have the inventory document, return doc, default voice. On the far right, we can see a couple of information about if this is required, order release, auto bill, and so on. Next to receipts, we have landed cost. Here, we have one example of landed cost with the description. We can see the number rank. We also see the AP invoice. If I want to add a brand new landed cost, I can always click on new, and it will come to this page. I can landed cost type. You can have to choose a number rank with the analysis master, the AP invoice. We also have the description. We're going to have to do the approval workflows for this, inventory document, and is it going to be auto release or not? We can click uncheck or checked here, and once we're all done, we can click on update. Next to that, of course, we have the invoices. As you can see, we have all the invoice tab on here on this column. Next to that invoice tab, we have descriptions of that specific types, invoice types. We also have the number rank, approval workflow. We can see our journal type with the return duck. On the far right, we can also see our withholding text posting with the credited note. If it is a debit note, we can see is duplicated reference or not, and so on. Next to invoice, we have the payment terms. As you can see, we have 14D, 15NM, with their description as 14D is 14 days, 15NM is 1 month paid 15th of next, and 1 day is 1 day, and this goes on. With their methods, they all fixed date, with their number of days as well on the far right. Lastly, we have the payment methods. As you can see under payment methods, we can see the bank. Is it a bank payment, or it can be a cash or check, with their description as well, and their default payment account. All right, let's go back to purchase request. And what I was saying earlier, we're gonna have to choose our request type. This can be the, test PR, general HQ. I'm gonna go with actually construction material request. We're gonna have to put our dates, of course. And after that, we're gonna choose our branch. We can set our priority level. We can be low, normal, high. We can have to put a required date and who requests this specific purchase request. We have multiple currencies. I'm gonna go with US dollar. And on the far right, we can set the subject is open. We can choose our project, and we're gonna choose who's this request can assign to. Below that, we're gonna have to choose an item. Click on item. We're gonna have to choose a material, and when we choose a material, description comes automatically. You can choose the unit, the quantity, segment if there is any, estimated price. We can add the promise date and the cost center. Next to item, we have the approval detail. We can add the approval details here by clicking on here. Next to that, we have the budget, if there's any budget, and we can see all our prices here as well, with their vendor name, PO dates, their branch, quantity, and total unit price on the far right. And once I'm all done with all the information, I'm just going to click on save, and this will update my main dashboard of purchase request. All right, let's move on to construction request. This is basically your gateway to managing all purchase requests related to construction projects. I'm going to go back on time a little bit. Here we go. As you can see, we have the request number, their status, branch. We can see all our projects with their department, date, their priority normal or normal. We can see our total cost, total quantity. We also have our open quantity. We have received quantity, and other necessary information on the far right, as well as job type or BOQs. To add a new request, we can simply click on Add button, and that will take us to the adding page. Here's the same similar way to our purchase request. Here we're gonna have to choose our request type. Of course, request date. We're gonna assign the priority and who this is gonna be assigning to. Again, with the currency, project task. On the far right, we're gonna have to choose the project with the zone, BOQs, with the job type. And after we're all done with the information on the top, we're gonna go on the below. We're gonna have to choose an item for that specific construction request. On item, we have all the lists here. I'm just gonna go with this one, for example. And after I'm all done with the item, if I want to add in the summary, it will be in here. If I want to add any units, I can add it from here as well. If there's any history, it will show up in here. There is none at the moment. If I want to add any approval, it will show up here as well. And price history. Again, once I'm all done with all this information, I'll click on save, and that will take me up to our main dashboard of construction requests. And I can see all my construction requests here as well. Moving on, we have purchase quotation. This section is your gateway to creating, viewing, and editing purchase quotations with ease. I'm going to go back on time to have more data. Here we go. Once we updated our date, we can see the table below. First, let's look at your filter quotations. Each entry provides a snapshot of critical details. Status indicators gives you a real-time update on each quotation. Open for active negotiations, pending for awaiting decisions, and complete for finalized deals. For more detailed information, simply click on a quotation number. This will bring up a comprehensive view, including transaction dates, requests, references, priority levels, and the responsible admin. The total quantity column ensures you keep track of quantities involved, while the requests by section identifies who in the team initiated the request. Below that, we have the item. We also have material codes, as we can see here, with the description. We can see the unit type with the warehouse, quantity. We also have the approved quantity, estimated price. We also have the request number. If you want to go on the specific, I can click on request number, and that will take us to the new page, as you can see in more detail with that specific item. If there's any approval details, will show up here. Same with the budget. We can see our price history, and so on. As you can see, our approval study is completed. Okay, let's go back. Next to item, we have the bidding vendor. If there's any bidding vendor, it will show up under here. There is none. If I want to add any comments, I can add it through here. And we can also see our approval status is completed. Same, we can see our price history as well with their PO number, with their vendor code, name, their description, total unit prices on the far right. Next unit price history, we have the purchases, as well as we have PO number. I can click on this PO number and it will take me to other tab to look into more detail of that particular PO number, what's in it, and so on. We also have vendor code, vendor name, and the status. Lastly, administration is who credited this specific purchase quotation. We can see through here, which is admin to this account, and the credit as well. For this document, I have also action buttons on the top. I can either request this document, approve it, cancel it, and close it as well. Let's go back. Now we'll be moving on to the purchase bidding. This feature is designed to streamline your procurement process by allowing you to manage and track all your bids in one place. To add more data, I'm going to go back in time. I select go. Here we go. Once we put all the information on the top, the listing will come up. As you can see, we have the bidding number, status, branch, description, as well as their dates, their total number, total cost, total quantity, and the last approval that we can see is admin. Again, if you want to add the specific bidding, we can always click on edit. We also have action button here again. I can always request this document, approve it, and cancel it. I'm gonna let's try it on edit. Okay. As well, if you want to add a brand new one, we can always edit, or we can just run the bid, and this will take us to this page. We can have a bidding number, quotation year, the resource, and once already, we can click on run, and we can set other purchase bidding as well. Next, we have the purchase order. Here, you are presented with a comprehensive list of all purchase orders. You can see the PO number, status, branch, and other important details briefly. Each row here represents a unique purchase order number. Notice how the status column reflects where each order is per procurement cycle from open, pending, approved, to complete, and canceled. Let's take a closer look at the vendor name and the date columns. This ensures you know who you're doing business with and when transactions are happening. Now let's filter our view. You can select a specific period from date to date, which we did earlier. If you need to review the orders awaiting your approval, you can simply click on only needs your approval on here as well and hit go. For more detailed information, you can click up, for example, this first PO number, and that will take us to the more detail. As you can see our description, total quantity, total value, and the last approval. Lastly, with the action buttons on the top of the page, you can edit, like approve, cancel, request the specific purchase order. Below that, we have the item. You can see the material code with their description. Again, with the unit, warehouse, item category is under inventory, and other necessary information on the far right. Next to item, we have the vendor detail. You can see the payment information here. Below that, we have the contact person info. And below that as well, we have the shipping address. If we need to make any adjustments, we can do it through under adjustments. If I want to see the approval status, I can see through here. As you can see, the approval status is open at the moment. And any price history is, corresponding to the specific purchase order, it will show up here, as you can see here with their PO number, vendor code, their vendor name, their description, and total unit price on the far right. If you want to add any attachments, I can do through here. Just click on attachment, and it's that easy. Just one click, we'll add attachments. Next attachments is administration, and I can see you created this specific purchase order. If I want to see this purchase order like in a report, I can always click on print to see it on preview. As we can see here, we have the information on top, the vendor name, their address, phone number. On the right, we have the PR number, the delivery date, and we can also see the currency. Below that, we have the item with the item number, with the description. You can see the quantity. Unit of measures is in pieces with their total amount. We can see on the below as well. Below that, we can see who requested this purchase order, their name, their date, and their current position. And we have multiple options to export this particular purchase order. We can do with PDF or Excel or text, even an image. Moving on to the purchase receipt. This is where all your receipts are organized and easily accessible. Let's start with the date range on the top of the page. Here, you can filter receipts within a specific time frame. This feature is crucial for generating reports and tracking deliveries over selected periods. If you are managing multiple projects, the project dropdown allows you to segregate the receipts accordingly. For instance, we select the home development to view receipts related to that specific project, as you can see here. Now let's take a close look at the receipt, the waiting list. As you can see, we have all the waiting list purchase receipts on the waiting list here with their PO number. You can see their branch, their vendor code. You can see our vendor name with their currency, their total amount, their total cost, and so on. If I want to put this this specific receipt to our main list, I can simply click on create. And first we'll review the information on the top. Again, which period is it from, their PO references. I can see the type, and I can see the total cost here. Below that we have the item. I'll double check all the items. And we'll go to summary too. We can see it a little bit more in better view with their material code, description, units, the warehouse, and their quantity. Under finance, we can see the bank information and attachments. If there's any, it will show up here. And once I'm all done, I can click on save, and that will take me to the main list, and that current waiting list receipt will be on the main list of purchase receipt as well. Moving on to the landed cost under purchase. This powerful feature allows you to track and manage all the additional costs incurred during the purchase of your inventory behind the original purchase price. As you can see, we have the landed cost number with their branch. We also can see our vendor code, their vendor name, date, invoice references. On the far right, we have the total quantity and total cost. We also have action buttons. I can either release this document or cancel it. Let's actually view this. Let's double click on it. And that will take me to this page. Here on the top, I can see the more detailed information such as standard landing cost, the vendor, the payment term. I can see the branch, the currency, due date. On the far right, we have the total cost and so on. Below that, we have the receipt invoice. With their material code, with their description, we can see the unit, which warehouse they belong to, unit price. We also have the receipt numbers that if you want to go into more detail, we can see it through there. Next to receive invoice, we have the item. We can see the item landing code is transport, description is transportation in this warehouse. The item category is allocate. You can see if there is any discounts, we'll show over here our unit price and our net amount. Next to finance, we have the finance here with their finance information. Also, under vendor, we can see their payment address with their shipping address. Inventory account, we can see our inventory number with their movement source. Next to that, we have the invoice. If you want to go into more detail, I can always click the invoice reference number, and that will take me to the other tab, and we can go through there, the comments, and so on. And that's our landed cost. Moving on to the sales, first we have the sales quotation. In this section, you'll find a comprehensive list of all sales quotations. You can filter quotations by date, selecting a period that best fits your needs. And let's do that. I'm also going to check status pending to all, and let's hit go. Each quotation is assigned a unique number for ease identification, as you can see here. And each quotation number counts with their status. Some are completed, approved, open, pending. We also have branch. We can see their branch, the customer code, customer name. On the far right, we can see our dates and the last approved the specific quotation and last approved date as well. To add a new sale quotation, we can simply click on add. And that will take us to the quotation type. Here, we have two quotation types, sell quotation and sell quotation general. Before we fill up this form, I'm going to go to the configurations. Under preference, I'm going to go sales. Under sales, as you can see, the type of forms. Quotation, we have two, sell quotation and sales quotation general, same as what we have here, sell quotation, sell quotation general. Again, if I wanna add more quotation types, I can still do it by here, by clicking on new, and this page will come up. I need to put quotation types. I'm also gonna put their number rank, approval workflow. If I want to put description, I can do by test. Default is going to be what? Is it going to be sales order or sales return? And this specific form requires approval. Yes. Is cancel whole quotation? I'm going to go with no. And after all done, we're going to click on update, and that will update our quotations. Next to quotations, we have the sales order. As you can see, under sales order, we have the SO type, which is SO001 and SOR01, which are the corresponding to the sales order and sales return. With their number rank as well, we can see sales order number. With sales return number, you can also see approval workflows with NA and so on. Next to sales order, we have the delivery. With their delivery type, their description, we can see the number ranks of that specific shipments, deliveries, with their inventory document as well. Next to delivery, we have the AR invoice. We can see all our invoices types, such as cash sales, sales invoice, tax invoice, credit note, and debit note. With their number rank, and we can also see their approval workflows. Other necessary information on the far right. We also have payment terms. As you can see, some payment terms are 14D, corresponding to 14 days, 15D means 15 days, and lastly, 30D, 30 days, and this goes on. Lastly, we have the payment method. Again, some of our bank, that means bank transfer, cash is cash, check is check, and we can also see their default payment account as well. Lastly, before we move on to our sales quotations, I want to go over our workflow. Our approvals. Under workflow, we can see our workflow objects, as you can see here. Next to them is their description. And you can select, is it going to be mail after, mail CC after, and so on. If I want to add a new workflow, I can simply click on new. And I'm going to have to add the object of the workflow, and other necessary information such as description, is it going to be URL approval based or URL release based, and so on. Next to workflow, we're gonna go to approver by branch. You can approve workflows by branch here. As you can see, workflow object, company, and their branch, as you can see. With their employee, approval level, as we can see. They're all auto-selected, and you can see internal status as well. Some of them checked, approve, and so on. Next to that, we can also approve by department. Again, with their workflow object, employees, departments, and internal status. Lastly, we have conditions of the approval, like workflows. For example, this one, we have the workflow object, API payments. Object name is GL item. The field name is debit and month. The data type is decimal. We can set the condition here. You see the from value to to value. And here we can see the for approver and for group. And this goes same concept in other conditions as well, with a similar concept. And that's it for our approvals. Now let's go back to sales quotation. Here, we're gonna have this question type. I'm gonna go with sales quotation. You're gonna have to choose a customer, currency. We have multiple, but I'm gonna go with US dollar. I'm gonna do our description as test. If you want, we can set a project too. Let's go with project ERP. If there's any discounts, I can add a discount here, but I'm not gonna add any. Below, we have the item. I'm gonna need to add the material. When I add the material, as you can see, the description and warehouse came automatically. We can add quantity, unit price, discounts, and other information on the far right if you wanted to. Next to that, we have customer detail. Under customer detail, we can see the payment method, tax code, payment term, and so on. Below, we have the route. We can set up our route. Below that, we have the payment address, which is our contact person, and shipping address below that as well. Next to that, if there's any partners, it will show up here. Here we have a salesman name here, and we can select that. We can add the approval reel here in approval details on the approver. I'm gonna change our branch. There we go. And lastly, if there's an attachments, we can add it by here by clicking on the plus button. And once you're all done, we'll click on save, and that will update our sales quotation main dashboard. Next, we have the sales order. This is where you can streamline your sales process. Here, we have the status column showing real-time updates on each other, from open indicating active orders to complete, approve, and even cancel status. There is none cancel here, but for full transparency and order management. Under customer and date, we can easily track who ordered what and when, with entries ranging from individual clients to branches. Financials are straightforward with the total amount column, where the value of each order, USD, is clearly listed. Let's do one more, right? We can also see our total amount, last approval, and last approval date as well. Let's try to add a new sales order. First, we're going to choose the SO type. This can be sales order or sales return. Let's go sale order. We're going to have to choose a date and the customer. We're going to choose a project. I'm going to go with home development. If there is any document reference number, I can put like 0001. Branch, I'm going to keep it same. Currency, I'm going to keep it same. But if we have options, but I'm going to keep it like dollar. We can choose a route again. On the far right, we have the financial information, like amount paid, total amount, and so on. Again, below that, we have the item. I can add the material, and that will update my stock information below here as well, as you can see. Whatever updated, it updates automatically. Next to item, we have the adjustments here. I can adjust, is it what percentage, discount, and so on. Under customer detail, we have the delivery date. You can see the payment information here as well. Payment address and their shipping address. We also have the purchase type. I can put a purchase type with the vendor goods and any PO reference as well. If there is an approval, I can add the approval form here. Lastly, we have the attachments. If I want to add the attachments, I can here do as well. And that's our sales order. Let's move to the shipment. Here in the shipment section, users can easily track and manage their orders. With initiative options to add, view, edit, delete, import, export, and printing shipment details, the platform offers a full range of actions for efficient shipment handling. You can filter shipments by period, setting a custom date range for specific insights, which we did earlier. Now let's take a close look at the shipment records on below. Each entry provides a comprehensive view of the shipment status from open, release to complete. We can see the organization by shipment number, current status, warehouse location, and the customer name and their customer code as well. You can also see the plan route, as you can see here, for the delivery date and asset code associated with the shipments, giving you all the information briefly. Moving on to the quick sales. The quick sales section is designed for speed and efficiency. Here, sales representative can enter transactions swiftly, ensuring a seamless customer experience. Now let's look at our compressed list of invoices. From here, you can see everything from invoice numbers to customer details, all at a glance. We can see the status column where you can track each invoice from release to completed, and even spot those are canceled. As you can see, we have 2 in here. Each entry is timestamped for your records. And the total amount column reveals the value of each sale with a quick look. If you need to find something specific, you can use the handy filter options to sort by period, date, status, or even search for a particular term. We have the reports tab as well. I can report as an A5 form or a thanks invoice. If you want to add a brand new quick sales, I can do it by clicking on an add button. You're gonna have to fill up necessary information on top, add an item, and click on save, and that will update our quick sales. Lastly, we have cash sales under sale. This dashboard provides a comprehensive view of your cash sales, ensuring you're always on top of your business transactions. This section lists all cash sales with vital details like invoice number, status, where you can see completed, open, or cancel, along with associated projects and branches. Let's take a closer look at each transaction. The description field provides context. The date indicates when the sales was made, and the total amount shows the financial impact on your business. Again, if you are searching for a specific entry, then you use the print filter on top or search bar to quickly find what you need, saving time and improving efficiency. With the ability to handle multiple entries at once, this section makes managing your cash sales both simple and effective. If you want to add a brand new cash sales, I can simply click on add. And this will take me to the add page. Here we're gonna have to put the correct information, like for example, invoice types, again, period, the customer name. When I add the customer, as you can see, the payment method, branch, and cursor came automatically. Same with the project. If you want to choose a new project, name, description, I'm gonna have to put an item. I'm gonna choose the item, and that updates my stock information as well. And again, once we're all done, we're gonna click on save, and that will update our cash sales dashboard. And that wraps up our overview of distribution module, focusing on purchasing and sales submodules. Thank you.